Well, Deb Murphy filed this story for Sierra Wave Media. Last summer, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power scrambled to get a variance from the Great Basin Unified Air Pollution Control Board for allowing water savings on the Owens Lake Dust Mitigation Project. Now, Great Basin has been working with LADWP for the last 6 months, this according to Air Pollution Control Officer Phil Cadieux. Now, this is to define the dynamic water management practices and assure both clean air and ongoing water savings. The new state implementation plan should be completed by April 15th, Cadieux said. Now, the variance supported by Inyo County delayed the fall ramp up of shallow flooding on 14.79 square miles of the dry lake. Now, combined with savings on mitigation projects, the water was added to the allotment for irrigation for valley ranchers and farmers during that 4th year of consecutive drought. Now, said Cadieux, we supported variance as a test. Now, after data analysis on all areas of the lake, the conditions of the variance were put to a real-world test and passed, according to Cadieux. Now, one concern during the variance hearing last July was the amount of notice time to get water on a dust control area within the identified 14.79 square miles if it became emissive. Now, LADWP aced that element of the test. They got water on areas that needed it within 24 hours of our phone call, Cadieux said. Now, pre-variance estimates of water savings from last fall's late ramp-up was 7,400 acre-feet minus water required to maintain habitat. Cadieux's estimate of water savings was 5,000 acre-feet. Now, late spring ramp downs and early ramp ups in the fall are all part of the dynamic water management Great Basin is incorporating into the new state implementation plan. This is a revision of the SIP handed down in the court judgment against LADWP in 2008. Deb Murphy also filed this story. Southern Inyo Healthcare District isn't claiming a win, but it has recorded a series of first downs since the State Department of Public Health suspended the hospital's license back on January 13th. Now, Chief Restructuring Officer Alan Germany provided an operational update at last Thursday's Southern Inyo Hospital board meeting. Germany was brought in shortly after the board signed a management agreement with Healthcare Conglomerate Associates in early January. Now, Germany also reported on the outcome of recent meetings in Sacramento, an additional $750,000 revenue in the form of intergovernmental transfers. Now, half of that sum will be available in June with the balance in September, Germany said. The funding will continue for 5 years. Now, IGTs were one revenue source that HCCA head Dr. Benny Benvizi had identified as an untapped resource at that early January meeting. Now, the process involves Southern Inyo Hospital transferring funds to the state, then receiving those funds matched in federal funds in Medi-Cal payments. Now, the two faults found during the DPH site survey are being rectified, Germany said. One deficiency was the absence of backup physicians. Dr. Parmad Kumar was appointed medical director January 12th with a 24/7 schedule spanning up to a week at a time, but there was no physician to step in when Kumar was off duty. Now, according to Ben Veazey, the hospital now has a list of 20 physicians potentially available to provide their services. Some of them have worked here before, said Ben Veazey, explaining that a large pool of doctors is needed to ensure 24/7 staffing. Now, the other license suspending deficiency was the absence of nursing and support staff for the skilled nursing facility. Now, the press release said following that suspension. Now, the release also stated that HCCA had not been notified by the CDPH survey team in advance that they expected to see this team in place, and the press release notes that that will easily be rectified for the next survey. Germany indicated Southern Inyo Hospital will be ready for the next DPH inspection the week of February 15th. We anticipate re-licensure, he said. He also went on to outline the work being done by the HCCA staff on the hospital's lab and imagery departments. Now, in addition, 6 of the 14 SNF residents transferred to Bishop Care Center have indicated they want to come back to Lone Pine, and 4 have indicated they probably will. Now, the 3 board members, Chair Dick Fedchenko, Vice Chair Jackie Hickman, and Mark Lacey, appointed to fill the positions vacated by the previous board, have been joined by Travis Powell. The board still needs to fill the vacancy for District 5, which includes Olancha and points south and east. Now, Ben Veazey told those attending the recent meeting, "We are barely beginning the journey. By the hard work of this board working as a hospital, the hospital has gone from abandonment and oblivion to a place with a future." Well, there will be an event tomorrow, Tuesday, February 9th, to celebrate the completion of the City of Bishop Solar Project. That will be taking place at the City of Bishop Wastewater Treatment Plant, 980 Polita Road, that's east of Bishop. Going to be celebrating the completion and the anticipated commissioning of the project, and we will have more on that from Sierra Wave Media. Also, the public is invited to a brief workshop Thursday. Now, that's going to be held in conjunction with the regular meeting of the Southern Mono Historical Society, which is seeking public input into its plan to relocate the log building known as the Warda Cabin. Now, that is currently located at 63 Lake Mary Road across from Mammoth Brewing Company, and they're going to do that to the Mammoth Creek Park East location, to the Mammoth Museum at the Hayden Cabin off of Sherwin Creek Road. Now, the Warda Cabin historic building was originally part of the Valentine compound in Old Mammoth, was built in the 1920s by prominent Los Angeles banker and civic leader Joseph Sartori as a summer getaway. Again, that workshop taking place Thursday, February 11th, 126 Old Mammoth Road. That's at the Mammoth Mall behind the Chart House, and that'll be at the upstairs conference room, and that was scheduled to start at 5:30 p.m. You can see mammothmuseum.org or the Mammoth Museum Facebook page for more information. Also, the LADWP and CAL FIRE crews will be conducting a series of prescribed burns for range and habitat improvement purposes in the Bishop and Independence areas. This is through the middle of March. The first prescribed burn will occur southeast of Bishop this week. Now, the public were asked not to report the smoke and fire in that controlled burn area. Crews will monitor the fire throughout the burn and will take precautions to keep smoke away from area communities, according to a press release. We'll be back with a weather report.